All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
Yeah, we can overdub it later. Just
Haven't had any crazy stories about. Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
sleazy real estate guys. But
The biggest investment you'll ever make will be the one that you make in yourself. My name is EMILIO, and you may have seen me as a host of VP podcast where we cover various topics and conversations with entrepreneurs. For the past 2 years, I've been running a personal development organization that covers 4 areas: health, wealth, love, and happiness. At Apex, we host events and workshops that help individuals improve on these areas through various activities, networking opportunities, and educational sessions. Every year, we host our flagship event, our Super Bowl of events, the Summer Summit. Over the span of a weekend, we foster personal and professional growth in a dynamic and engaging environment. In 2022, we did Lewis Beach, Delaware. 2023, we did Tampa, Florida. And this year, 2024, we will be doing Atlantic City, New Jersey. Participants will have the opportunity to delve into key areas: health, wealth, love, happiness, through expert-led sessions and activities. The event will include gourmet meals, vibrant evening socials, and luxury accommodations, all to ensure a holistic and enriching experience. Whether you're looking to enhance your leadership skills, gain strategic insights, or build meaningful relationships, the Summer Summit is a unique opportunity for you to transform your life and connect with like-minded individuals. Look, the year will be over before you know it, and most people go several years without ever investing in themselves. This is an opportunity for you to not be most people. So take a chance. Come this August 23rd through the 25th to Atlantic City, New Jersey, to the Summer Summit at the Claridge Hotel, and grow with us. Bye-bye.
all right, so in tonight's episode, we have the owner of Jim's Cuts off Capitol Trail, Newark, Delaware. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the man himself, Jim Aure.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How you doing, boss? I'm going to reach in here, shake your hand. It is 10 o'clock, August 9th, on a Friday night, after a long day of work for you. So thank you so much for taking the time here.
Friday night used to be different.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I would love to unpack that a little bit more. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having here at your shop in New York, Delaware. I get my cuts here by Reyes himself. Reyes Cuts is with us here. Reyes, how you doing?
Doing swell.
Doing swell. You see him in the background. So, yeah, we're going to go into, your background, your upbringing. You're not from the United States, so I'd like to know about your life beforehand a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to go into your profession, what got you into it, what got it started, what inspired it, how you scaled with it, to then opening up your business, your lessons that have come with that. And, we like to close out with the kind of experience you've had almost gives you a position of wisdom to maybe give people that want to do what you're currently doing, how you could maybe set them up with some advice for them.
Absolutely.
Does that work?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes that are coming in the near future. All right, so Jim, let's see. Let's take it from the top. You were not born in the United States of America.
No, I was born in Makati City, Philippines.
Makati, so probably right around the corner, no?
Yeah, the fun fact about that hospital was actually Tim Tebow was born in that hospital.
Tim Tebow?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Actually?
Yeah.
How? Okay.
I would love for you to look it up after this.
I will. Okay, so you were born in the Philippines. And so you said you told me off camera that you didn't come to the country. Did I get you down? Understood you correctly? Until you were 16.
Yeah.
Right. So walk me through growing up in the Philippines. What was that like?
Growing up in the Philippines was obviously it's an experience, right? Growing up in such a big family, man. My mom has like 9 siblings.
Okay.
And so does my dad.
Where do you lie there? You the youngest, the oldest?
My mom and my dad were both kind of in the middle, and I only have a little sister. So
Okay.
I'm the older one.
Okay.
And the craziest thing is we are only 9 months apart. We're an Irish twin.
Okay.
Is that what you guys call it?
Okay. An
And-
Irish twin. Okay. Is that a thing? I've never
But
heard
me
of
and my sister are the total yin and yang, though.
that. Okay. So you guys get along really well. Like there's no. Oh,
We get along when we're far apart.
oh okay. Okay.
My sister lives in Florida now.
Okay, Florida, man. That's quite the state. So, tell me about what's so because typically when I ask people about when they grew up here in the U.S., I go into the typical household situation. What did that look like for you over in the Philippines?
Parents are gonna hate me for this, but it was messy. I come from, a broken family.
Okay.
My parents were separated, and in the Philippines, you couldn't get a divorce.
Really?
So you had to take the next level, which is an annulment.
Okay.
So my father and my mother's marriage actually does not exist because of the annulment.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, Philippines at that time, divorce was illegal.
Okay.
You know.
So, what's it called again?
Annulment.
Say again.
Annulment.
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 Annul.
Annulment. Oh, you told me about this recently. Okay. So annulment.
Sorry about the
recently-
Filipino accent. It's still
No, it's okay. It's okay.
18
No.
years later,
Okay,
it's
so
still heavy.
an annulment. So it essentially just ceased from like existence.
So technically, my mom's first marriage is actually my stepfather.
Oh wow. Okay.
And my
So-
stepdad's marriage now with my stepmother in the Philippines, that's also legally his first marriage now.
Oh snap. Okay. What was that like for you and your sister growing
It
up?
was tough because we were kids when this was happening, and unlike a divorce, right? It's a signing of paper. You push it, you wait for your turn, pretty much, right? That's what a divorce is, correct? And with an annulment, it's like you really have to prove that you can't consummate the marriage anymore. So I was about, I think, 8 or 9 years old when this started happening. And me and my sister had to go through, like 5 to 7 different lawyers. They ask us what is our life like with our father when we were still with him. And we were almost kind of coached to tell them that, hey, he's not a good guy. He was this, he was that.
Coached by who?
The lawyers.
Okay.
Because they had to push this through the judges to see
Okay.
if it's going to go through or not. And it was successful. It took a long time, man. And I believe it took a good few years for the annulment to actually go through. Because like I said, Philippines is not big in separating couples. You know?
So the judges were essentially training you guys. So the annulment
The
could go
lawyers were training us for the judges, pretty much.
Yeah, the lawyers were training you for the judges, so the annulment could go through. Okay. And so how does that look like in terms of custody? Is it like
My mom ended up just taking us because it felt like at the time my father didn't want anything to do with us because we were kids. I mean, kids are tough, right? I have two, I would know. And my father was not the most responsible person at the time. He really didn't care.
okay?
And believe me, there's more details, but I feel like it's too much for me to
Yeah.
publicize what my
Yeah.
father was
Right.
because that's not who he is anymore.
Okay. Okay.
He's made changes, but it was too late when he did. We were already here. I mean, me and my sister were pretty much adults,
Okay.
you know?
So are you essentially telling me that you guys have is a word amends here?
What do you mean?
Like amends, like you guys have like cleared up, or made
Kinda.
up? Okay.
Kinda. I'm not on speaking terms with him,
Okay.
but at least I do know he's okay.
Okay. Okay. So tell me, outside of that, I mean, were you guys going through education or work? Or what does that look like in the Philippines?
Growing up back at home in the Philippines, education is always prioritized. No matter how poor you are in life, school is a must. And the way my family was, most of the boys in my mother's side went to a school. I'm gonna shout out my
Yeah.
what could have been my alma mater back at home, Malate Catholic School.
Okay.
I have uncles that went there.
Okay.
I've even had the same teacher as them at one point.
That's not okay.
And even though I wouldn't say we're the richest, but we're not the poorest either, but my grandmother pushed for education. She valued it. She's always said that school comes first before anything else. And, I was in the Catholic school system growing
Okay.
up.
Okay. Tell me about your time in school. Like, who were you? Were you the guy anybody could get along with? Were you the cool kid, the little nerd in the corner? Like, who were
I
you?
was
there?
more of
Were you in the middle?
I wouldn't say I'm in the middle. I don't believe it when they say it, but they were telling me that I was one of the popular kids.
Oh yeah.
I don't see it.
What did that look like for you?
I guess I didn't care.
Okay.
But my sisters were telling me, some friends were telling me that you're this and that. I'm like, really?
Yeah. What specific people they were telling you?
They're just like, oh, they know you here in this circles. I'm like, how? Why? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't
What were you doing?
talk to those people.
What were you doing? What made you well known around the school?
Played
You a
hoops.
ladies man?
No, I
Were you
played
the
hoop.
athletic guy.
I played basketball, and I was the combination of I played basketball and I played a lot of video games.
Okay. Okay.
So I had at least two circles there.
yeah.
But I didn't care for the whole popularity thing. It
Okay.
didn't matter to me. I just wanted to hang out with the boys.
Yeah, with the boys. Okay. So, would you say that you were almost popular without even asking for it? You didn't exactly like a lot of kids in this in the education today like seek some sort of approval, right? Whether it may be from parents or their peers in school, like so they almost like go out of the way to get that approval.
Yeah, I guess I really didn't care.
You really didn't care.
When my parents' separation started, there's a lot of things that I blocked out. So I treated school more of as I did what I had to do, and it was a social thing.
Okay.
And there was a lot of things. The way they were graded in the Philippines, believe it or not, I never thought I would say this publicly, but I actually got held back.
Okay.
Because a big part of the Philippine education system, where at least where I was going to school, was your conduct. You could actually fail a grade by just being bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We even had a school subject called GMRC,
Okay. GMRC, which meant
Good
what?
Manners and Right Conduct. If
Do we have something like that here in the
If
U.S.?
you know me well enough, I would fail that.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that's why you got held back, not because of academics, but because of behavior.
Yeah,
Oh man. So you sure you didn't know why you were the cool kid?
I know.
Okay.
I guess I was just a dick.
Okay. So you got held back. Did you make up for it?
Yeah. When I moved to America, that's really when everything changed because it felt like.
Was that the next step?
Because when we moved to, when my parents were going through what they were going through, right? My mom put a rush on our papers to move here. Because the family situation in the Philippines wasn't, let's just say it wasn't the happiest anymore. And my mom was in a rush to get us here. She got remarried to my stepfather. He helped us push for the papers and he got us here.
Okay.
And it took about 6 years to get us here.
Okay. Okay.
So
So when you came to America, where did you land?
JFK.
JFK. Okay.
JFK.
JFK is over in New York, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, New York in Queens, or is that LaGuardia?
LaGuardia is the one in Queens.
The
I
ones in
believe.
Queens. JFK is what? Manhattan or what? There's not a. Where's JFK is in Manhattan, right? I believe so. So yeah, so you landed in JFK. What was? I'm assuming that was. So was that your first flight ever?
Yeah.
How was that?
Long.
Long?
Because
How long is a flight?
if I remember correctly, it was 26 and a half.
26 and a half.
You gotta remember, money was tight
Right.
at the time, and my mom at the time could only really afford the cheapest ticket possible to get me here.
Sure.
And me and my sister came in separately. There was a part of me that really didn't want to leave the Philippines because I thought my life was there. I thought that this was it. I thought it peaked there, and I'm gonna make a living over here. I'm gonna grow up, and I didn't see this coming. My mom took my sister first. I felt like that was more important. Getting her out of there was a priority, and then I came second.
Okay.
And,
How far apart were you guys?
My sister got here a month earlier than me. I was May. She got here April.
Okay. April of what year?
2007.
7, right.
Yeah.
Okay, 7. So right before the '08 crash.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't even have a clue what you just said.
the '08 crash, the
No.
housing crash?
I was 16 at the time.
Yeah, no, obviously at that time, we're not really thinking of that, but even looking back when I was that age, I think back to the things that was going on around the house and not realizing the economic stress that was happening in the nation at the time. But okay, you got there a month later, and you both arrived. Where'd you guys stay? I know you guys landed in New York.
Yeah,
but
we
where did you
stayed in
stay?
Jackson, New Jersey.
Jackson, New Jersey.
Our first home in Jackson was apartments. It's not there anymore, but it's called Regency Club Apartments. That was my first home in America.
Yeah. So before we even go any further, I really want to dive into this feeling because
Philippines.
it's a unique feeling of when you arrive at the airport. Walk me through that. You're going through baggage. Well, you're going through what's it called?
I didn't bring
customs. You're going through customs.
They didn't really check me much. I think because I was a minor.
Okay.
It was more about traveled by myself. So as a minor, I felt like I was just going with the motion going in there. They checked my passport, they see if the visa was good, and that was it.
And then you go to baggage claim. Like, are you feeling
I
like
only-
some sort of butterfly? Like when you walk through those doors,
Excitement.
excitement. Okay.
Because growing up in the Philippines, when we studied U.S. history as a part of our curriculum over there, and America was called the land of the milk and honey. In short, it's the land of opportunity.
Uh-huh.
Right? And two things were coming. I'm like, I am far removed from where I'm from, and here I am now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Right. Right.
And the only thing I could think of at 16 was airplane food was crappy,
Okay.
and I'm hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. Dang. So they didn't even have like a simple meal or anything,
Like I
a
said,
snack?
I rode the coach of coaches.
Yeah. The coach of coaches. Okay.
And I remember I have an aunt. She lives in Berlin now. She gave me my first American dollar. She gave me $50 because it was one of the requirements for a minor to travel to America. You actually have to have $50 with you.
Okay. Really?
It's a just in case because it's gonna get you home.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
get
yeah.
there, there's
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
to pick you up. Give it to the cab driver. It'll get you home, right? So, from Philippines to U.S., right? First thing I look for, I'm like, man, I am so hungry. So I felt
You land
I
at
wa-
the airport. You see all these different kinds of like food chains or whatever the case.
I went to the most familiar one, McDonald's.
I was gonna ask, is there McDonald's in the Philippines?
Yes.
Okay, and how was
our,
that
our
McDonald's?
menu is actually better in the Philippines than here, just so you know.
I hear that about every other country. Like every other country,
Our
apparently
McDonald's in the Philippines serves spaghetti,
Okay.
peach mango pie,
What?
rice, chicken, and gravy.
Uh-huh.
And we have our own version of a hamburger, which is ours is not full of preservatives.
Oh my, yeah.
But
I heard a lot.
most people here won't eat it because it's predominantly we're a pork-based country, Philippines.
Okay.
I remember Filipino people suffering when the swine flu would be there,
Yeah.
and the pigs would actually be really sick, and you can't even consume them.
Okay. Okay.
And I went through a good few years of those. I've experienced not going back, not trying to bring it back. I've experienced a lot of like crazy things back at home.
Well, give me some of them.
man.
Let's give me some of them. We can jump around here. What was one that
I remember
immediately
one
comes to-
time, I
comes to
think I
mind?
was a child, we had a very, very bad, like we have 2 seasons in the Philippines, dry season and rainy season, / monsoon season. Because we would get rains like we're the United Kingdom there for like weeks.
Really?
And I remember rain would go up to like my knee to my hips. And when you live in like the sea level area, like the cities and, urbanized, and we could call it squatters because some of the areas I lived in were poor.
Okay.
So, the sewer system is bad, and literally it would just flood up. And I remember the setups in the Philippines. You know how in America we have floods that are this low,
Yeah.
right? They're very low. In the Philippines, it has to be at least
Oh.
chest level
Okay.
because when
For
it
that
floods,
reason.
it does get in the house.
Yeah.
So, 2 things I experienced that I could remember as a child was one of them was the El Nino phenomenon we had over there. I remember at one point it felt like the desert in the Philippines, dude. It was dry. I forgot what year it was, but it was there.
Okay.
It was really, really, really dry. You could walk out and your nose would bleed.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And the other one was the typhoon that I really could remember experiencing was in the Philippines, we name our typhoons with female names.
Okay.
And the one that I could remember was Rosing. I'm not sure how powerful the wind was, but if I remember correctly, it was like about 80 to 100 miles per hour wind power, dude. And I remember my grandmother's house, our roof was literally coming off.
Oh my God.
It was one of those and I
Yeah.
was a child when this was happening.
Yeah. So it's probably like almost traumatic seeing something like that. No.
You get so used to it, believe it or not, that you
Really?
don't. Because I remember
So the tornado that happened the other day, you were just like, oh,
I was chilling.
You know?
We had one here in Delaware not that long ago. And I was driving around and my stepfather, being the American that he is, he's freaked out. We have no water, we don't have no toilet paper. And he's like wondering why me and my mom are like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you two? I'm like, what? There's a tornado, you guys are not freaked out? I'm like, the fridge works, right?
Yeah.
Got
Just
water and
another
ice coming out,
Tuesday.
right?
Just
Said,
another
yeah, I'm like-
Tuesday.
Dude, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the typhoons were crazy. Those were some crazy times. And
Yeah.
I remember my parents, my dad specifically told me a story. I'm not sure if it was 1990 or 1991. There was actually a very, very bad earthquake when I was born in the Philippines.
Okay.
And I remember he said that I had to run you out of the house, and I was just carrying you like this because I was a tiny baby, apparently. He ran out of the house with me, just diapers on.
Oh man.
And there was a chance that our house could have gone down and would have been gone.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can't even imagine going through something like that.
Did I really go through it? I was a baby.
I mean, but it's a story to
But it was a
tell
story,
for
yeah.
sure. It's a story to tell.
There was
So-
a lot of things back at home, dude. And to go to the cultural part of the Philippines, right? What I miss the most, though, about being back at home was we don't have street foods like that in America.
Street foods?
Street foods, yeah.
Okay.
I remember you could literally just walk everywhere. You couldn't even walk to just the side of the church you can eat. And the craziest thing is, what's the cheapest food you could really buy now here in America today? Think about it.
I mean, the fine.
We don't have the dollar menu anymore everywhere, if you guys
No.
think about it, right?
No.
You go to McDonald's and McChicken is now
Dude,
$3.99.
I can tell you this.
$3.99, $3.50 for two.
Yeah, a quarter pounder meal, not even the large, you're easily spending $15, give or take.
You know what you would pay for a Big Mac meal in the Philippines? If
What?
I remember correctly, I saw the price. It's about probably $3, dude. And that's a large, I believe.
Yeah.
And our meat patties are not made of whatever is made of over here.
We could, that's when we start getting into economics and politics.
Right.
But I want the people to get to know you before.
Oh, yeah.
We dive into that. We could save Kamala, as we spoke about earlier, for
definitely.
later.
That's gonna be okay.
But yeah. So all right. So you go to New Jersey. You land. You go to New Jersey. Who'd you stay with?
My mom, my stepfather, and my sister.
Okay.
Because it felt like for the first time in a long time, me and my sister finally had some sense of family, man.
Okay.
But life in the Philippines was just so dark and messed up that we forgot we were children.
What does that mean?
There was a time when I was, I believe, in 5th grade. My mom and my father were going through whatever they were going through, right? They were getting ready to separate. And from what I understand, it got to the point where my mom was the breadwinner. She stopped sending money because she wanted us away from our father. And I remember I kind of had to take care of my sister at a very young age. I was in 5th grade in the Philippines when we had to do that. I remember there was a time when I would get out in the morning just so I could almost go through these. We have wet markets in the Philippines where people would sell food, right?
Yeah.
Some were made and some you have to cook. I would go to the ones that have those made food already. And I felt like I was begging for food. So I could feed me, my little sister, but mostly her.
Okay.
And I remember we have small buses in the Philippines called jeepneys. You probably heard if you know any Filipinos. And I would go where we lived, right? There was like a pier for it, pretty much a stop where they all stopped to fill up their jeepneys. And I remember I would call passengers. I was a barter is what we called it in the Philippines. I was calling for passengers to fill up that thing. And once I fill it up, the jeepney driver would give me like between 10 to 20 pesos, which is not even $1.
Yeah.
And I would do that all morning. Just so I could have enough money for me and my sister to eat. I don't even really remember. My sister remembered me doing that. We were kids.
Yeah.
But at a young...
How old were you exactly?
1998, so I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
I was forced to do something that, I wasn't supposed to do. I mean, the child in me it was gone at the time.
Yeah. It's
I
like
had
you were
to-
forced to grow up.
That's to grow up, provide for her.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't do that, then what would be me and her?
Yeah.
At the time, and for some reason we had relatives that they saw what was going on and they chose to ignore it. They just looked at, oh, look at them, so we kind of forced our hands. And when that stopped working, I would go to we have the little miniature restaurants in the Philippines called Carinderia.
Okay.
And me and my sister, we ran a tab on one of them until they stopped feeding us, and we just tried to move on to the next one to see if we could get by the day,
Yeah.
eating at least 2 to 3 meals a day. And it was tough, man.
Yeah.
I said my dad was very neglectful, and I didn't have a choice. At a young age, it was messed up to kind of understand that right away, that
Yeah.
you knew something was wrong and you just had to do it.
Yeah.
It shaped me to where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Because the faults that, majority my dad really did, I'm not doing that to my kids.
Yeah.
I am 10 years off nicotine, and I'm also 5 years off alcohol.
Congratulations, man. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. So it was the first time it felt like a home for you and your sister.
Oh, when I moved there with my mom and my
Yeah.
stepfather,
Yeah.
my mom would even say that, my stepfather's my hero. He really is.
Okay. And so what was like life for you like then?
When I moved there, or
Yeah, what does the day-to-day what did the day-to-day look like for you?
The
Because you
adjustment-
no longer had to do everything you were doing in the Philippines.
it
I
was
imagine.
weird because
How did you become a kid again?
well, at 16, you were 16 in America. You're a kid.
Yeah.
I finally got to kind of let loose, and finally, instead of trying to look for something, I finally just I could look for someone and actually be friends with them for a change. My first friends in America were these Lithuanian people that they moved from New York to New Jersey,
Okay.
and he was an immigrant like me. He moved there at a very young age, and it was weird, man, because I went from the person with the craziest responsibilities at such a young age to when I
Yeah.
moved there at 16, I'm like, wow, I got to be a kid. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I remember them telling me that, oh, next year you're getting your driver's license. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So
like, driver? I'm like, what?
it's like you're almost hitting like a big, almost reset button into a new life.
That's how huge reset button, dude.
Yeah.
And like I said, there was a part of me that didn't want to go here, but people back home talked me into it. They said, one of my uncles just said the simplest advice: if you don't like it, come back. And he said, believe me, you'll stay.
Yeah.
He was right.
Yeah.
And may he rest in peace. He was right.
Now, were you enrolled in the education system once you got here, or what was that?
I got to experience public school America for the
school?
first time as well. I went to now my alma mater, Jackson Liberty High School. We were the first graduating class of that school.
Okay.
It was a brand new school when I got
Brand new
here.
school.
Brand
Okay,
new
so walk me through. I'm assuming you didn't come in here speaking English.
Actually, I did.
You did. Okay. So did you learn it
My
over there in the
mom's
Philippines?
mom was like I said, how I told you earlier, she valued education. There was
Yeah.
she made time for us to speak English at home. Actually,
Okay.
she trained me because she said that I see good things in you. I think you're gonna go very far in life.
Okay.
She was the most upset person when I left the Philippines.
And the same went for your sister?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a family thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you were immediately into the public school system, into a new school, the first graduating class, speaking English. So did you feel like you almost had no trouble, like almost immersing
It was just
immersing
being
yourself?
the new kid because I felt like when I went to that school, it was such a tight knit group of kids that they all went to elementary and middle school together, and I'm kind of entering. I'm like, hey, a foreign kid,
Yeah.
because it felt like where I was from.
What was the crowd like then? Was it?
No, Jackson was very diverse, but it's what I imagined America was gonna be like.
Okay.
It's like all those things.
Big
the
melting
thing
pot.
I saw on TV. Some may say that was a lie. Or what Jackson looked like to me was that.
Okay.
Like Jackson was an all four seasons place. It was very diverse. And like I said, the high school it shocked me how beautiful public high schools here
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
If you would compare public schools here in the Philippines, dude, it's like heaven and hell.
Okay. There you go. Well, now did you become the popular kid in high school too?
I didn't care for that either when I got here.
I know, but you
just
didn't care
wanted
for it back then.
I just wanted to
Who were you in American public school for the first time? The first time around, were you the cool kid, the popular kid, the kid that was just in the back of the front of the class?
it felt like I just sat in the back.
You were just there.
I just sat in the back. I was just there. My mom always told me just graduate and graduate good, please. And
What was your circle like? Did you have one?
not really. I felt like I was just friendly to everybody. I feel like I didn't need like a clique.
Yeah. Okay.
I went into class knowing I was just there for the class.
Were you more of a math student or an English student?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Okay.
And I enjoyed.
If you had to pick one or the other,
I enjoyed chemistry the most, actually.
chemistry. Okay. Okay. Because you typically find that the people that are more like is left brain the creative, the creative. So you find that people more that are left brain with the more creative. Is it the other way around? tend to be more into English class, and the more logical people tend to be into more math class. So I'm always curious about that.
No, it felt like when I got here, I treated it like it was the Philippines because the ways the school system was in the Philippines, right? In the Philippines, you were forced to bring every book and every notebook every day. There were no lockers, and school was from very early. I believe when I would arrive at school, it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you don't leave till 6 o'clock,
Sheesh.
5 to 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Long days.
It's a long day, and it was between almost eight to 10 subjects a day, depending if you have phys ed, because you
Yeah.
get 2 hours of phys
Yeah.
ed in the Philippines.
Yeah.
While here, the biggest difference for me was it was a college type of block scheduling. So school was almost easy because I went from studying 8 to 10 to literally just 4 subjects a day. So the adjustment was like, it was almost not there.
Yeah. So
And
which,
I enjoyed school here more.
I was gonna ask. So did you find which one did you find easier to work with?
Oh, the American.
America.
The American one, yeah. Because
In terms of like academics, not just like ease of resources and stuff like that.
America was
America,
really
okay.
easier because what shocked me the most was I couldn't believe that there were these open book tests, and I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, open book tests. So when do they study?
Yeah, it's my favorite test.
When do they study? The hardest studying I had to do was for my cosmetology written test because I actually had to study for that one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt like we got by high school with open book tests.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah, they would tell you it's an open book test, but that doesn't mean don't study because you're not gonna be able to go through the entire book in the time you have to take the test. But
And that explains a
some
lot
students
why
will do it anyways.
that explains why I was maybe an A student because of that. Because I'm like, they're pretty much just telling me.
What was your GPA?
I was at 3.8.
You were at 3.8. 3.8. Oh, I wasn't too far. I was like around 2.4.
My sister was 4.0. Dude. My sister's smarter than me. She's 4.0.
Hey man, we would have gone toe to toe, man.
No, she went to college for free.
No, I was the complete opposite, man. I was just living in high school, essentially, just going by, constantly dating, and probably had a 2.4, 2.5 GPA.
See, that's the crazy thing
here
you
we
mentioned, dating. I tried that one time, and I'm growing up in the Philippines where what you would call lover boys. We're very, very simp by nature.
Okay.
And when I got my heart broken, man, I tell you what, I'm like, I am never trying this again. This was too much.
Oh man, so
And I thought-
it just
what's
scarred you
cra-
into another country.
What's crazy is I'm like, I couldn't believe how beautiful people here were.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the hell?
Uh-huh.
And there's no uniforms. I'm not used to that. We wore uniforms in the Philippines, private or public.
Yeah.
You go here, everybody, why are you wearing a V-neck and you could see the whole thing? It was wild. It was such a cultural shock for me.
Yeah.
Because growing up in a very Catholic, driven by my grandmother type
Absolutely,
of
yeah.
household, it was very strict. Just a lot of things didn't fly with my grandma. And moving here and I'm seeing that, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, that's definitely a public school thing. Like I know a lot of schools will have like in maybe middle school, maybe high school. Like I think in high school they will typically stop the uniform thing, but I know like in private schools, it's like Sally's. She went to Sally's. Like that was all uniform, right? But it was also
Strict dress code.
strict dress code. Okay. So
Like people really follow that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So okay. So you flew through school. You did well. You excelled academically. What was like? What took place after high school?
Cosmetology school.
Okay.
I went through.
So how come you went?
I went against
instead
the
of
grain.
college.
I
and
went
then you
against the
to-
grain with what my mom, what every typical Filipino mom wants, really. Filipino moms normally dictates what their kids' dreams are. You're not allowed to have dreams. You know what I mean?
Okay. What does she want you to be?
A man nurse.
A male nurse.
Yeah, I call that a man nurse.
A man nurse. Okay. And so now, but obviously, you went a different direction.
The inspiration for barbering actually was it happened really early. When I first moved there, right? Any of us know when you move, what do you look for? A barber.
Yeah.
Right? I met these two Filipino barbers when they were in their mid-20s. And they could just, it felt like they smelt me because I'm like, oh, fresh off the boat, he's definitely Filipino. And when they got in the chair, they started speaking Tagalog to me and I got all excited.
Yeah.
And they're like, relax, man. We know what it's like to be just like you. And I just started kind of being, I'm still friends with my mentor, his name is Don.
Okay.
I'm still friends with him. And yeah, I just started getting haircuts by him regularly after that because it felt home. You know, moved to America, the first thing I looked for was a barber. I didn't think I'd find a Filipino barber. And Don was the inspiration to why I am where I'm at today.
Okay. So he influenced you to become a barber, but what ultimately said, you know what, I'm going to do this?
The 3.8 GPA got me a free ride.
Okay.
I went to Ocean County Vocational Technical School in Brick, New Jersey. And I spent a year over there. I remember at the time, I think it was 1,200 hours to complete the course.
Okay.
And then you would take a test. It was practical and then written. I still have my New Jersey license, actually.
Okay. And at this point, how old were you?
When I was going through that, I was 19.
19.
19, yeah. And but even before that, I already bought my first clippers. I was already trying to cut some of my classmates' hair, friends. They're like, yo, let me show
What were you cutting?
I was more of getting used to holding the clippers pretty much, and I would pick the easiest friends when they would just get a buzz cut and a shape up. So it was
But where exactly were you cutting? In the same shop?
Oh no! I was
Because I know there's also kids that sell candy in school. They try to be entrepreneurs.
I was
know you're in the bathroom cutting hair.
I was actually cutting in my my parents' house.
Okay.
And I went to them or they came to me. It was one of those like, and most of them I didn't even really charge because I was just trying to practice. And if I would mess up there, I'd bring it to the barbershop where those computer guys were working. And I'd be like, yeah, I messed this up. Can you fix it? I'm paying for it.
Okay.
It's an investment for me.
Yeah.
How much do I not? And the saddest part is you're giving the haircut and you're paying for it after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was difficult, man. The 17-year-old me was I gotta get this.
Yeah.
You know.
So how long did you do that for? The cutting out of your house
Throughout high school.
throughout high school. So you were doing that even before you graduated. Like you were already practicing beforehand. Okay.
It felt like I thought it was. Like I said, my mom was against it at first, but when she see that I really wanted it, and I did end up enrolling in school, like I said, they value education. Right? If I didn't go to cosmetology school, they would be like, "Nah, you're not doing this." Because apprenticeship also didn't exist in New Jersey at the time, I think. So I really did have to go to school.
Okay.
Because when I talked to Don, that's what he told me. You got to pick either a cosmetology or barbering school. All you really need is the license, and then you could cut hair.
Yeah. So those two options. Did you choose either one, or you chose your own route? How did you make your own path?
I just decided to go to school, and I just wanted to see where it was heading at the time. You gotta remember, I was a kid when I was doing this. But after I graduated school, I was licensed already, and I just started giving it a try. What I did was I actually worked in a salon first. I'm gonna shout them out. My old boss, Daisy and Anthony. It was called Aurelia Salon in Howell, New Jersey. It felt like with barbering, my weakest point was my scissor cuts.
Okay.
When I went to school, I was buzzing everybody. I was trying to fade everybody. I never paid any mind to what the up top was. My assumption of barbering was I just buzz everybody and shape them up. It was that was the kid in me, man.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm like I didn't pay attention to the scissoring class in school.
Oh man. Okay.
Right? So when I got my first job, I'm like, you know what? Work with beautiful women, learn how to cut hair. And Aurelia, the great thing about them was they actually offered free education.
Okay.
There was a Sunday class, and you and your coworkers get to pick what kind of class would they bring in for you. And a lot of us was voting scissors. There were so many Paul Mitchell educators I met at the time. They were all great, and it kind of shaped me up to be the well-rounded barber I am today.
Okay.
Because I felt like I really, really needed to grasp that. Like I need to learn how to do this, or I think I'm gonna fail.
Do you think those are some of people's biggest challenges when they're
at barbering?
Yeah.
When they first start, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the craziest thing about clipper is like you put the guard and you cut, right? It's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
But with scissors, it's the tension that you have on here. The way you pull it, do you pull it forward? Do you pull it backwards? There's the regular cut, diagonal. There's the cross cut. It's making it more even with scissors is a lot more difficult than you know.
Right.
There was a lot.
Because
more-
I've seen this video, right,
Mm.
where they lay the lady's hair on a table and they grab a butcher knife. They grab a butcher knife and they get
I
up, and you find that the
Well,
boom-
yo, we have a butcher knife at home, and I wanted to try that with my wife.
Oh man.
No, but she's like, "You're not doing that to me."
Yeah. So it makes sense because, if you're not filling out the weight of the hair or whatever it is you were saying, to that complication, it is going to come
There
out
was an
uneven.
obsession too
Yeah.
for me that I feel like I really need to get this or I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like because, I don't want to be a jack of all trades. I wanted to be a master of everything with barbering, and it took a while. It wasn't. I always say this to Christian over there: the longest barber mile is the first one,
Okay.
because that's where all the learning and the licensing come in.
What does that look like? Break it down for me. That first mile.
That first mile was, from being encouraged by those guys at the barbershop to try it, and they were just telling me, take it easy. When you do buzz a hair, with the comb, follow the comb with it, make sure everything is even. And it sounds crazy, but you go all the directions because you don't know what hair you're missing. It's like they're giving me all these little advices, little by little. And then, once after you're done with that, we're going to teach you how to work the lever. When it's close, that means it's at its shortest. And when you open it, that means it's at its longest. And that's how you fade. The little things, it was little by little. And they weren't even really teaching me fades. They say just learn how to make everything really even. You want to be thorough and then shape it up.
Yeah.
And then we go from there, come back here in 2 weeks with your work. We'll kind of judge it for you.
Okay.
To see if you messed them up or not. And be like, make sure you get behind the ears. You hold the ear a certain way for you to get the little things, man. And then after that, we moved on to fading. The funny thing about brand new barbers is they have an obsession with shape ups and skin fades.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I was. I'm like, nah, you might want to learn how to do that 1 2 a 2 and then that 1 2 a 3.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there would be that separation.
Right.
You got to start with it's like everything, right? Basics. They drilled me. And to even just to how to hold the comb was essential to that.
Okay.
Because if you hold it a certain way, believe me, it makes it easier for you. And this is something that I've been doing, holding that comb like that for 17 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've had the same motion for 17 years with it.
Snap. So that first mile is mastering the basics.
Yeah.
Mastering
And
the
after
basics.
I felt like after that, not mastering the basics, but getting the grasp of it, it gave me the confidence. Okay, I could go to school for this, and what's gonna make it worth it is once I get that license, opportunity just opens up like crazy. You could go from working somewhere, and then you gain enough experience, you gain enough capital. Next thing you know, you're opening up your own place. I saw that far back that one day I know I'm gonna do this. It took long, but I got there.
Yeah.
From working, if I would count in my head. This is the 6th hair place I've worked at my own.
Okay.
on my own. So I had 5 different places before this.
Okay. So you had 5 different places, or you worked
I
in
worked at 5 different places.
Okay.
Rather, yeah.
Okay. And now, this is the 5th place.
And this is the 6th.
This is the 6th place,
This is the
but this
sixth.
is your own.
This is mine now. Yeah.
This is your own. Okay. So
And the second part of that long mile was and after learning the basics, going to school, and the next thing you know, you're learning the theories of it. Believe it or not, barbering is big in infection control. That's one of the things we had to learn over there. And then they would teach you, like the scissor cuts that they teach you in hair school is the very basic of it. From sectioning to just kind of when you layer, you pull the hair up, how it grows, cut it there, and then you move on little section by little section, and you're moving that guide. That you get drilled with crazy amount of basics in school, which is what you actually need. Because the reason why they're doing that is when you take the practical test, this is that part of that mile again. When you get to the practical test, next thing you know, I did the longer bit of hair because I did cosmetology. So it included facials, it included nails, it included facial. I already said a facial. And then after that, it was a little bit of everything. We even did hair coloring. We did hair treatment, like relaxing. And, it was a lot, dude. It was a lot. That was a long mile too, because it was also the 1,200 hours you have to complete in between.
okay.
And while I was in hair school, I was actually working.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is in America. You get a
Right.
car, you have a license, you have car maintenance, you have the gas, you have the insurance.
Right.
So I somehow did 2 jobs in cosmetology school and finished that all in 1 year.
There you
I
go.
was very driven. It felt like it needed to get done. And the licensing, and then after that, when I got my license, I got my first job at Aure.
Okay.
And that's when I started drilling myself with what they had going on over there was that scissor.
Yeah. So from your first place to your 5th place, what was that like? What was that journey like?
It's like steps. It felt like
Now, did you hop around just because,
I didn't hop around actually.
or were you just graduating?
Aurelio was a good 3 to 4 year stay. I stayed there long enough that I was able to take advantage of what they had to offer.
Okay.
Like I said, the free educations was, like I said, dude, it was big, man. And Aurelia, shout out to them. They're $1 million salon. They can afford that.
Yeah.
They're one of the best salons in New Jersey. I think they still are to
snap.
this day. They had those people from the reality TV show. They were doing it for the Jersey Licious.
Oh, snap! Really?
Yeah,
I've definitely heard of it. Brought
Jersey
through my
Licious.
mom.
They did that. Of course, it's from her, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
So you.
and then when I
really-
moved to Delaware, I was almost.
So the second place was Delaware.
That's when I moved to Delaware
Okay,
already.
okay.
And I was getting ready to give up on hair because I'm like, man, do I listen to my mom and go back to school, or do I give this one more try? Just one more. And you gotta remember, at the time, I didn't have a Delaware haircutting license. I had a New Jersey. And I didn't think that you could just reciprocate depending on how many years you've had your license. So when I moved here to U.S. Mail, they hired me because I had a New Jersey license, but I had to reciprocate. So when requirements were met after a good few years, okay, you can.
Yeah.
They gave me my Delaware license, and I worked for U.S. Mail, both locations in Main Street at the time. I worked for them from 2011 to 2019, August 2019.
Okay, you were there for a long time.
A long time. Like, this was me being the new guy again, right? I went from moving from the Philippines to New Jersey, New Jersey to Delaware. So I felt like I needed a place to, okay, let me sharpen my skills more. And the way their system worked was, it was a walk-in based system in a college town, so it was perfect.
Yeah.
I wasn't as sharp, but I knew I was messing up records, but I got to keep doing it. It was being in the environment of, okay, I gotta do this. And, when 8 years passed, when I left, I finally decided to try another version of barbering because I was in commission-based barbering at the time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give this good old chair rent a try. It was easier for me because I was licensed. I could literally just hop from one place to the other. And I also learned kind of how to be my own boss.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you become the chair rent barber, you kind of manage your own business by that.
Right. Yeah.
Manage your own book.
All that stuff. Yep.
And I did it in another place in Main Street. It's called Main Street Barbershop. I was there for like 6 months.
Okay.
And it felt like I needed to get out of the comfort of Main Street because I was relying on the college traffic versus me building a chair.
Okay.
So when I got out of there, I had what very little clientele I had at the time. I looked at it little, at least. Was I took it to Razor's Edge with me. I ended up working at Razor's Edge down the street.
And we're at place number 4 now.
What place? Because I actually, with U.S. Mills, I did 2 locations. I count them as 2.
Okay.
There's 2 locations in Main Street. I worked at both of them. I hop around between the 2 of them. They needed me to do that. So
Okay.
I placed
So
5
that's
with
fifth.
Razor's Edge.
This is 5th. Okay. Razor's Edge.
The 8
Okay.
years of U.S. Mail was between the 2 shops they had in Main Street. They had me hopping around a little bit.
So
And
this 5th spot, where was it?
Razor's Edge is down there in the Capitol Trail by the BP.
Okay.
And when I went there for a year, I saw a whole other side of barbering that I wasn't being shown, from my salon experience to my corporate barbering experience, what I would like to call them, to where I was at Main Street to Razor's Edge. I saw a very different type of barbering that I know I could do that. Because I got used to I remember at one point it was bang out the haircut as quick as you can, go get that, whatever that money was, and move on to the next one. That was the kind of barbering. Because Christian would tell you, sometimes my speed baffles them when I do it on certain days.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
And he see me do a bald fade on a gentleman. I'm like, how is he done in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
And because I was, the way they were there with that in and out system, I kind of got used to it. So it's not I'm rushing. It's by my motion. Even James would tell me, it's like, why do I feel like you're still doing? I'm like, it just never left me.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of programmed in
Yeah.
you, you know. And when I went to Razor's, but I saw a whole different side of barbering at Razor's Edge. It was more of the passion slash like creative side of barbering, where you care for the very little details and you're doing the enhancement additives.
Yeah.
I've seen this like more of the cooler side of it, because when you're at corporate, you're working.
Right.
It's like you're working. But when you go do the whole, you know, independent contractor bit and you're seeing what these other barbers are doing, so that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of opened me up a little bit. I'm like, you know, I could do that.
Yeah. So it goes from kind of from like a job to an art.
Yeah, pretty much, man. It was cool. And shout out to Manny. Working for Manny was a great experience for me. I learned a lot from him. From, you know, some of the business aspect side of it to the skill side of it. I feel like my growth at Razor's Edge, that 1 year I worked for them, was an insane amount of growth. Because like I said, I went from...
Because you're apparently now, you're how many years into actually applying in businesses?
Including my non-licensed high school years, I'm pretty much at my life. I'm 34. I've been cutting it for 17 years.
17 years in, and you said that 1 year at Razors, right? Was your biggest year. So at this
Was my
point,
biggest, like growth-wise.
growth-wise. So at this point, you're compounding your growth.
I feel like
here.
I've combined from like I said, from this salon
Yeah.
till now. I feel like I've really put them together, and to be where I'm at today, dude, the 16-year-old me would have never seen this coming,
Yeah. Yeah.
because he was down for the count,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. And really quick, something came to mind here. I have an idea, and we're gonna keep going. But for the first time ever, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be a 2-episode podcast episode with Jim.
I appreciate
Aure.
that.
So the following episode will come a week after this. So please make sure to stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on the notification bell for Jim's next episode. Jim,
thank
we'll
you,
see you
man.
next week.
The biggest investment you'll ever make will be the one that you make in yourself. My name is Emilio Pastor, and you may have seen me as a host of VP Podcast, where we cover various topics and conversations with entrepreneurs. For the past 2 years, I've been running a personal development organization that covers 4 areas: health, wealth, love, and happiness. At Apex, we host events and workshops that help individuals improve on these areas through various activities, networking opportunities, and educational sessions. Every year, we host our flagship event, our Super Bowl of events, the Summer Summit. Over the span of a weekend, we foster personal and professional growth in a dynamic and engaging environment. In 2022, we did Lewis Beach, Delaware. 2023, we did Tampa, Florida. And this year, 2024, we will be doing Atlantic City, New Jersey. Participants will have the opportunity to delve into key areas: health, wealth, love, happiness, through expert-led sessions and activities. The event will include gourmet meals, vibrant evening socials, and luxury accommodations, all to ensure a holistic and enriching experience. Whether you're looking to enhance your leadership skills, gain strategic insights, or build meaningful relationships, the Summer Summit is a unique opportunity for you to transform your life and connect with like-minded individuals. Look, the year will be over before you know it, and most people go several years without ever investing in themselves. This is an opportunity for you to not be most people. So take a chance. Come this August 23rd through the 25th to Atlantic City, New Jersey, to the Summer Summit at the Claridge Hotel, and grow with us. Bye-bye.